matchup is how quickly he'll turn from being the wall deck into the I'm going to kill you deck.
Yep.
You know, it's like he just what he'll do is he'll wall for maybe 2 or 3 turns and then he'll take 2 swings and win.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm playing a control deck and building up a wall. It's, you know, Ballhorn wants to win on turn 4 and Barich wants to win on turn 5, and then he does it on turn 5. It's really fast.
Yeah, that's the thing I like about the Naya aggro decks when you're against these red decks is that you're able to play both offense and defense. For example, even if he's on the play, he can just always play offense then. He doesn't have to play any defense, and Ballhorn's deck plays defense worse than Barich's does.
Right, both players on 7, something I like to see in the in these kind of matches.
No 1-drop for Barich, so no Experiment 1, no Dried Militant, as we are underway here in the semifinals of the Star City Games Dallas Open.
I think he can afford to keep that kind of hand in matchups like this only when he's on the play.
Yep, I agree. On the draw, it's probably unacceptable, as we're going to see one of those 2 Rakdos Scathlers come to the party, and here's a Stomping Ground tap, and just going to pass the turn back yet again.
And we've seen this from Barich before. You know, the first time we saw his Naya aggro deck on camera today, he was playing against Joe Bass, and I remember he did this thing where he just went land go for 2 turns, and we were thinking, how could a Naya aggro deck possibly be okay with this? You know, you're supposed to be playing guys, you're supposed to be playing Burning Tree Emissaries, which I guess he doesn't have, but you know, we saw 8 1-drops and, you know, 4 Stranglegeist, and we said, how'd you keep a hand without any of these? And, you know, at least when I thought, he really proved me wrong there when he ended up, I think, turn 6ing his opponent anyway.
So Burning Tree Emissary into pass. Wow.
Ooh. And it might be that Jace Ballhorn kept hand of Burning Tree Emissary, you know, into Searing Spear, thinking there'd be something to spear at that point. There wasn't.
Yeah. And this is difficult to spear.
Right. So now the walls we're talking about are being set up by Barich.
So here's a Mountain from Ballhorn. Now we're going to see a Pillar of Flame plus Searing Spear turn. And we're going to see a Legion Loyalist. Okay. I actually like this a lot because now you're going to get your Battalion trigger, and after the first strike is done, then you're going to get a Searing Spear.
There's a Searing Spear waiting. No doubt about it.
Yep.
So first strike on, and yes, Spear comes down, gets the Smiter. And I think what I like is, you know, Barich recognized there was going to be a Searing Spear, went for the best creature. It's like, all right, I mean, he can't not block because then the Spear doesn't come out of his hand.
A Legion Loyalist having an impact immediately. A lot of text on that card, as you guys can see, but it's all relevant.
So what it gives the guys are, when creatures attack, it gains first strike, trample, and cannot be blocked by tokens. Really irrelevant here is that turn 4 play from Barich could have been an Advent at the Worm. He can't take that line if that's what he has.
Yeah, so instead he goes with an Experiment 1, followed up by a Loxodon on Smiter to have a little evolution occur. So 2-2 and a 4-4 on the table against Ballhorn's 2 2-2s and that Legion Loyalist.
So the question is, can Barich afford to make this Experiment 1 a 3-3? In this matchup, 3-3 and 2-2 are such different sizes. You know, 2-2s trade with every card in Ballhorn's deck, and 3-3s eat just about every card in Ballhorn's deck. And we do see a Pillar of Flame in Jace Ballhorn's hand. I'm not sure on the other cards. I believe it's another. He has a land still. You know, a 5th land. It's kind of one more than he likes to have.
Pillar of Flame going to take out the Experiment 1. Here's a Boros Reckoner.
Minotaur Wizard. He takes out the Experiment 1 while he can, but opts not to swing into the wall that is Loxodon Smiter.
So another land drawn here for Barich. And now we remember talking with Barich's, here's a Searing Spear, which is just going to send it back to the dome.
Right, that's what I like about the fact this deck is full of creatures that are just this big. You know, normally when you play a red deck and you Searing Spear or Reckoner, you just say like, oh, isn't it 2-for-1 me? But, you know, that's a pretty good way to remove a Reckoner.
Yeah.
All his creatures big enough that it would kill none of them.
Now again, when speaking with Barich earlier today about how he lost to Green-Red earlier, he said that I, unfortunately, flooded out, and that's what it looks like is going on here. So you're going to see Legion Loyalists and the friends come across. Battalion, you'll see first strike take place.
Did he draw another spear? No, he did not. He's gonna trade it with a pillar, or
I can trade with anything at all. So he's thinking maybe
that's so aggressive.
Maybe he wouldn't block, is maybe his thought.
I mean, the thing is that so I understand that, you know, you've done a Searing Spear before. Maybe you have another one, but like Barich can't afford to trade or play around that. If he's gonna block. If you have it, you have it. That just seems a little aggressive to me. If you're going to make that play, you want to wait until you have a 4th creature in play to make the swing with.
Yeah.
And now both players flooding out, but I think I like Barich's position here. And it's pretty close. Whoever stops drawing land first clearly is going to be the favorite.
Oh no! Well,
that's big.
He stopped first.
Well,
and he stopped in a big way.
Yeah, Barich on 8 lands. We see 8 lands for Naya aggro, 6 lands for red-green. You know, a rather unimpressive display here by both decks, as both of them kind of are sputtering out. But when you're sputtering out, it's great to have bigger top decks.
All right, Boros Reckoner is one heck of a big top deck, so that comes in. And now What can Ballhorn do? Does he have a return? And it looks like he's got all lands over there. And fighting through a Boros Reckoner for a red deck, as we've seen time and time again this weekend, is not very easy to do.
Reckoner, one of the best cards against the red-green aggro deck. It's just so hard for them to swing through. There are not very many ways that Jace Ballhorn can push through his final damage. When I'm looking at this, the ways he can do it, you know, Hell Rider could do it, a Gore Clan Rampager, Blood Rush could possibly do it, and maybe a Fire Fist Striker, but outside of those cards, I don't see him swinging for 9 through this.
No, again, Barich needs to be a little bit careful because you saw him get aggressive with that Lockdown Smiter, which I liked because you want to cut the turns of the game and get the game over with, but you don't want to get, you know, punked out by a Hell Rider and just get punched right back in the face. So you got to be a little bit careful and, you know, make your attacks accordingly.
Right. What you'd hate to see happens if, say Jace Ballhorn has a Searing Spear in hand. You'd hate to swing with a Smiter, have no other plays, have Jace be like, all right, main phase, Spear the Reckoner, and be like, okay, you kill something. Hell Rider, swing 6.
Yep.
You know, that is certainly one of the ways you can lose the game.
We got another follow-up here, and it's a nice one. It's a Gore Clan Rampager, and this is him going...
Now he's a lot safer.
Yeah, he's going bigger and bigger and bigger. The draw is a
7th
mountain.
land from Jace Ballhorn, and he matches Rampager for Rampager.
All right, so let's see what Barich is drawing here, because he can still keep being aggressive.
And Yep, and that just as this game is finishing very quickly, we're hearing that the other side of the bracket also is finished. We might have a very quick top 4. The Bant Hexproof deck hexproofed it out for the first game.
Unsurprisingly, Woodrow Bukutski does win game number 1. We're going to get confirmation, but we're about 95% sure that he is currently up a game. And now you're going to see Barich looking to try to get up a game himself. He's sending in with all of his guys. Here comes Smiter, Rampager, and a Boros Reckoner.
Yeah, and just no regard for his own life at all. I think he's felt that he's turned the corner despite whatever Jace Ballhorn could be holding. You know, so presumably this is like Aaron would only make this attack if like the only way Jace Ballhorn can survive is by blocking, you know, almost blocking away by sending away all his own attackers. And that pushes in 7 damage.
So it passes the turn back. So is he open to dying to Hell Rider right now? Like, if Barich has nothing...
Remember, because Advent can't block here.
Yeah. Barich has nothing.
Barich has 2... Ballhorn has 2 more lands. He has Stomping Ground, Mountain. That is 9... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is 10 lands drawn.
In a 20 land deck.
In a 20 land deck. That's a bad time for your deck to do that.
In we go. Legion Loyalists, get in front of you. Not blocking Boros Reckoner. There's a Searing Spear. That's number 1 over to Barich.
All right, Aaron Barich, remember our double top 8er for the weekend, both times with Naya Aggro. The number 2 seed pushing his way 1 game away from the finals.
So we're going to cut it back to the booth really quick because it is trivia time, and Matthias, it is your turn to explain the rules.
So I'm going to actually, if you've been listening to us, I know we say a lot of things and sometimes we don't listen, you know, sometimes you don't listen to us. I mean, I don't,
What are you trying to say?
If you don't.
You're trying to say you don't listen to me?
Well, I'm saying that we all just talk a lot. If you've been listening to us, this should be an easy enough question.
Sure.
But it's a somewhat unusual card. We are looking for a card specific to Jace Ballhorn's deck.
Okay.
We are looking for what enchantment from Dragon's Maze is a unique selection in Jace Ballhorn's sideboard.
That's me knocking the wiffle ball out of the park. If you know the answer to that, tweet the answer, hashtag SCG Premium. 6 months of premium going to be given away. We will announce the winner after the semifinals is over.
I kind of love this card. In my draft of the PT, I got one 6th pick.
Was it in your deck?
No, but I took it because I thought it might be open. Okay. It made no sense because I know it had gone through like Paul Rietzel and it was a red card and I was just very confused. I was like, wait, because he would have had a 3rd pick and I'm like, wait, he passed on 3? This doesn't make any sense. I remember just being very confused by it. No, I put it in my sideboard and then like I never saw another card in its colors again. But that was fine. The deck ended up fine, but
and you ended up doing
it shouldn't go 6th.
I agree with that.
It should like.
I am inclined to agree with that. This card that we were talking about, 2 of in Ballhorn sideboard, it should not go 6th.
I don't even know if it should go 3rd. Like, okay, you can take a rare over it, but are you telling me it's rare? I don't know. Okay, my own opinion is I'm hard-pressed to think that it goes 3rd.
You have a strong belief in this card.
I really like it.
You're a very big fan, and I'm actually kind of a fan, too, because playing against it is pretty
I like just playing it and winning games. Like, sure, you can try to win games the fancy way.
What you're trying to say is you like to play games and then win games.
No, some people will be like, oh, the best, some of the best cards draft are Turnburn. I'm like, yeah, Turnburn's a really sweet removal spell, but sometimes it's just like when you go, win the game. And like, I like those kind of spells. So this is one of them.
Yeah, you're very original. I must give it to you. As we're going to cut back to the match.
All right.
Let's take a look at sideboards here. We're going to go over Ballhorns first because he is on the draw. So after you, my friend.
All right, so we've seen Jace Ballhorn sideboard. We talked a little bit about it before, that he has Volcanic Strength in his sideboard, and we almost assume that that's going to be coming in. Outside of that, he needs other ways to break through. I think Traitorous Blood is probably one of his best weapons here. We see that Aaron's playing a lot of really big creatures, and Jace would love to make them his really big creatures just for a turn.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind a Boros Reckoner coming on my side of things.
Right. Gruul Warchant may come in as well, I think. He's putting it in the spot where there's typically Volcanic Strength in the sideboard, and what that tells me is he kind of thinks it fills the same role as Volcanic Strength. And Volcanic Strength was typically the best card in this matchup.
Yeah, it's certainly a huge help to be able to push through damage, especially when Barich doesn't have that much removal. Again, you see Barich's sideboard, 2 Mizium Mortars to go along with his 4 Spears in his main deck. Then you see Pacifism, you see Volcanic Strength of his own, Boros Charms, Ray Revelations, and Skullcrack. I think Pacifism's going to come in here. I don't think he needs to try to go under.
I don't think he's going to board in the Volcanic Strength.
Yeah, I don't think
Jace
so either.
Is a red deck, but I don't think that's not the game plan.
Yeah, I mean, he's on the draw this game. He needs to play the defensive and then swing it to the offensive.
So do you side in the Mizium Mortars then?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Those are coming in
So
immediately.
Pacifism's Mizium Mortars. Pacifism, typically a great sideboard card against red-green aggro decks. If you assume they're on the Volcanic Strength plan, then Pacifism is a literal 2-for-1 when you cast it. I think I like Jace Ballhorn sideboard a lot because it kind of gets around some of that disadvantage.
I'm with you there. So we'll see how the players do end up choosing to sideboard here. And again, Ballhorn is going to be on the play for game number 2.
Interesting enough, Pacifism, I believe the reason it started to see a lot of play here is because a red deck has trouble dealing with Boros Reckoner, and it's one of the cleanest ways to answer Boros Reckoner.
That was the exact reason Pacifism started to play. I actually was advocating Bonds
of Faith because you can use it. I was just going to ask and saying that, why isn't it Bonds of Faith? And I think it's because sometimes you need to pacify things that aren't Boros Reckoner.
Yeah, that does happen, yeah.
You know, you don't want to be like, I'll pacify your, Fire Fist Strike. Oh my god. Like, you don't want to have to make that play.
Yeah, so. there were, when I was advocating that, there were a lot more humans decks, but there are less, I guess there are less humans decks now, but they're looking to uptick now, as we're going to see Experiment 1 versus Strongkirk Noble, and we know who wins that fight.
Well, despite being an ooze, it is a human ooze. Those Simic are just crazy.
Yeah, it's good flavor.
Yeah, it is good flavor, but it also means that Stromkirk Noble runs right through it.
Yeah, which is good flavor for the Noble, if you're Jace Ballhorn
like,
right now.
I am above silly human oozes, and he'll deal 1 damage to Aaron Barich.
So 2/2 Noble, once that die comes on the screen for you guys, he's going to follow up with said Firefish Striker.
He has team unblockable and can't, he's not going to let Aaron block at all.
I mean, this is an important card in this matchup for him. He needs to make it so that he is not allowed to block, because we're going to see 2 mana here. And is it voice time?
I think so. And this is great. We saw before Aaron kept one of those slow hands with land, smiter. I think on the play those are great. On the draw, this is the kind of draw that Aaron needs. 1 into 2. Just match him creature for creature.
Now, right now, we still don't see a die on that Stromkirk Noble, so this is kind of disconcerting. Like, did he miss the counter? Because, I mean, it's his effect, and it's up to him, and I don't see a die on
if he missed the counter, he certainly will realize that he forgot it on this swing when Aaron says, okay, I take 1. He'd be like, wait. He'd be like, you mean 2, right? And then look at him and be like, I don't see a die on Stromkirk Noble. I think it's 1.
Yeah, this could get a little bit interesting. It looks like he may have forgotten.
He missed it. Yep. I think looking over it right now, we'll see. We'll get a confirmation on that. If he said, if he just tapped the card or said get a counter, then he's in the clear. Like, depending on what the players have said verbally, it may have a counter on it. If it did, I'm not sure why it doesn't have a die on it as of yet, but the fix may be, oh yeah, we forgot to put the die on. As long as he gave any sort of verbal indication that it happened.
Well, we're going to find out. Here's another Stromkirk Noble, and it does not look like, at this point, I feel like a lot of time has passed to the point where I don't think they're in search of any dice. I think it's something that he just ended up forgetting.
Even so, if there is the verbal communication that it happened, then I think he gets it.
Sure.
He does. No, it is a 1/1 confirmed. He swings the Firefish Striker, is willing to trade it, and he's gonna Gore Clan Rampage it.
That's what I thought it was gonna be. But again,
there's no way he's actually offering this trade.
Yeah, I mean, this is why Voice of Resurgence is completely insane, because this dies, but he's gonna get an elemental token.
2-for-1 to him in a very roundabout way. He got a 2-for-1 off that Voice of Resurgence. It does trample over for 4.
Yep.
But on this board, I don't think 4 damage is particularly relevant. Jace is running out of ways to swing through here.
So here's your elemental token.
It is currently a 2/2, only going to get bigger. There we go. That was the one they gave him there was the 8/8 from the land.
Yeah.
This is the actual one.
If Voice of Resurgence made an 8/8
every time, that'd be a pretty sweet card.
We would have to question what's going on in Renton, Washington, just a little bit.
Don't kill it. It's like this pinata. I'd be like, if you blow it up, there's prizes inside.
Yeah, we'd have to have a little bit of talk with the guys who are designing this game, because we're getting a little out of control here. But nonetheless, it is just going to be a 2/2 right now.
Yeah. And, you know, when I think about, this is how I remember the Selesnya versus Red Deck matchup happening in block.
Sure.
Where it's just like, you play the Red Deck and you're like, you just think, this is so miserable. How am I ever going to win this matchup? All these creatures are so big and mine don't do anything.
Sure.
And, you know, that's what it feels like right now watching this. Like, you see Jace's board, it's like, oh, you have a 1/1, a 1/1, and a 1/1 haste. Ooh, I see. I mean, he's just getting blanked on all sides by Aaron Barich's cards. And this is, you know, before Advent of the Worm even comes into play.
So obviously Legion Loyalists and the 2 Nobles are going to be attacking. You see the trigger from the Loyalists for Battalion.
It means the token can't block and the human can't block the Stromkirk Nobles. Aaron, the only block Aaron Barich can make is to put the Experiment 1 on the Legion Loyalist.
Yep.
And I think we'll do it. Nope, can't go there. There you
There
go.
you
That
go.
one's allowed. And
Is it a Rampager?
I don't know. Is it a Rampager? It is.
Looks like a Rampager.
Looks like one. I mean, he can get it through, but that will be his last card for the turn if he does. His last card out of his hand if he does it. I think he said he lets Legion Loyalist die.
Yep.
And I like that. The 4/4 trample, I think, is more valuable. Well, I think it's more valuable.
I think it's more valuable too.
It's
I'm not
close.
positive. Yeah.
The no block tokens clause is why I think it may not be. It's possible that Barich's hand is just a bunch of things that make tokens.
Ooh, and Barich did bring in Volcanic Strength again. I'm a little bit surprised by that.
Yeah, that's not really the role he is here. I would typically expect to see Volcanic Strengths against, like, the aristocrats.
Yeah. And so here's a Dried Militant.
Right, just a 2/1, but not a human. So
Not a
fine
human.
2/1.
Yeah, so that's actually a big deal too. That is not a human because it can actually trade with a Stromkirk Noble.
And this is where I kind of feel like I'd want to have Blood Rushed there if that is a Gorkhan Rampager, because then next thing you'd have tokens can't block and your guys gain first strike. Dried Militant would not be allowed to trade with any of these, and both your Stromkirks would have then pushed up to 3/3s.
Yeah.
And I think pushing both your Stromkirks to 3/3s is more important than getting a 4/4 in play.
Yep.
But it's close, and you know, depending on how Jace Ballhorn decides to play this, I think both plays have merits to them.
Okay, so the last
it
card was
wasn't
a
one.
Hell
Sorry,
Rider. Okay.
it was a Hell Rider. So anyway, all right, we're debating plays that do not actually exist. And he's swinging. Remember that token is not a 2/2; it's a 3/3 now.
It's a 3/3. So if I'm that token, I'm jumping from a Hell Rider. Yeah, and I'm
Trade,
gonna
trade,
trade
kill
here
everything.
too. Yeah.
Hell Rider has to die.
So we get some trades off the board. Yeah, I love
1,
that
2, 3,
block.
8, so puts Barich down to 6. No cards in Jace Ballhorn's hand. I kind of like how he's played it. He has a 3/3 in play, and Barich's only creature left is a human. There's a fair amount of finger crossing going on now. That he just hopes that Barich has all lands. He may have all lands though. Isn't that right?
That's not a land. That's
Oh.
a Mizium Orders.
Okay, just kidding. This is a really bad situation for Jace now.
And now this is a Volcanic Strength. So now he's going to be coming in for 4. You take a look at he's going to be coming in, yeah, for exactly for 4. So you take a look at the life total.
4
Down
turn
to-
clock.
Yep, down to 12, down to 8, down to 4, down to none.
Interestingly enough, if he boarded in Traitorous Blood, that's going to be a bad play.
Yes.
That
Yes, that will.
Like 4, huh? What? 4 + 2, and do you play mountains? Oh, you do.
Yeah.
So he has kind of given. I'm actually surprised by that swing because he's given Jace this out now.
I mean, it's a bit of a backdoor out,
Yeah.
but here's a
Yeah.
Voice of Resurgence.
I'm not sure you need to play Traitor's Blood. Maybe I'm being far too cautious. Maybe just try to kill it. Maybe the correct out is just kill him fast.
Here's a Firefish Striker.
Yeah, not a particularly relevant card right now. It's a creature. If Ballhorn draws a Volcanic Strength, actually it's too late to draw Volcanic Strength. It's really just Traitor's Instinct or bust, I think.
I don't even know if Trader's Instinct gets it done because Trader's Instinct, it's Trader's Blood, not
that's
Trader's
right,
Instinct.
Blood.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
blood, the
Trader's,
plus. Wait.
there's
so
no
this
plus
is
2.
not the plus
It's
2
not the
plus
plus 2
01.
plus
This
0.
is
Yeah.
the trample one.
Yes, this is the
Oh.
3-mana one.
Oh, well then that doesn't work. I was under the impression this was the plus 2 plus 01. No, it's the trample one. Oh, okay. Yeah, then I don't know if he actually has an out. He could play. If maybe his last card is a Legion Loyalist, he could go Legion Loyalist, Traitor's Blood. And none of the above happen. Aaron Barich defeats Jace Ballhorn 2-0, moves on to the finals.
And a matchup that we thought was favorable for Barich ends up being favorable.
Just as favorable as I think we thought, as it looked.
Yeah, and I like the way that he played the games. He used his life total as a resource. He did some blocking. His superior cards took over the game, and then he closed the door very, very quickly. All the things that we thought were going to happen did happen. So Barich is going to move on to the finals. Ballhorn is out with a very good weekend, a semifinalist, but he will not be moving on. So we are going to see Naya Aggro in our finals here from our back-to-back top 8 competitor Aaron Barich, as we are going to be cutting over to the other match momentarily.